So this is what it is called the star-studded panel. You know, like when you have these two ladies beside you, though, you know, like both of them have a humongous work that they have done here in Bengal. But right now, they are more focused on different projects, I mean, whether it is OTTs, whether it's big screen in Hindi, in other languages, apart from Bengali, apart from Bangla. So I'm sure Arindam is going to join us. But meanwhile, let us begin. So the topic that we are going to discuss, I was just mentioning that OTTs have actually broke the barrier. Raima, Paoli, both of you, I mean, you are doing such wonderful work. But before we get into the, you know, like the topic and all, let me just ask you, when you guys meet, I mean, Paoli and Raima, when you guys meet, after a long time probably you're meeting each other, isn't it?
Actually,
no?
No, we meet each other quite often.
Really? Okay.
We live really close by. So we meet quite often.
Okay, Arindam ears. Okay. Very warm welcome to you, Arindam.
Thank you, sorry.
Yes. I know that Arindam and Paoli has just finished a film together, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, and when is the next film with Raima then?
I just did act with Raima last year, I suppose, in a film directed by Anjan Datta.
Okay.
And with Paoli, I've been waiting to work with her since my first film.
So you have to wait for a.
I've been
so
giving
many
her
days.
offers since I started directing my first film, and she went on ultimately to say yes on my 18th film.
Oh God, Paoli. So you have, you know, like Arindam Sale.
She's
waiting
so high-browed.
Yes, absolutely. So I mean, it was a conscious decision. Okay, so Arindam Sale, I'll be doing a film with you.
No,
Wait.
no. Somehow it wasn't happening.
I know.
Either the dates were clashing or something or the other.
Right.
But I'm happy eventually that we started our like working together from this film, this film which will be releasing on the 11th of August.
Right. Raima, how was your OTT experience till date? I mean, you are doing a lot of OTTs nowadays. And now, you know, do you know that people here in West Bengal, in Kolkata, they are like your fan. They're saying that, okay, where is Raima? Why can't we see her in, you know, Bengali films? Where is she gone?
So I just did something for an OTT platform, Netflix, which released in April.
Yes.
And I just want to thank the OTT because during this pandemic, you know, I think films were like not happening because of the lockdown and the cinema halls were shut. So then OTT came into being and it started booming. And I'm happy that, you know, because of the content, because of the kind of characters that you get, that in I have actually played a negative character, which I haven't played before. So, you know, at least like I'm getting like more opportunity to explore different kinds of, you know, roles because of the OTT.
So basically you're saying that you're getting that license of, you know, like exploring many things.
Because it's an OTT, every character has to be fleshed out. And, you know, every character has a backstory. Every character is important, not only the main protagonist.
Right.
So, you know, that way we all actors there are many actors who've just been seen after so long in the OTT.
That's
so many
true.
people are getting
That's
work
very true, yeah.
behind the camera and in front of the camera. So, and we are getting like different roles. So, which is very exciting. It's a very exciting phase for us.
Absolutely. That's very true. You know, like we are seeing, Paoli, I mean, actors really who we cannot say them, you know, like veteran. I mean, they are senior actors, whether it is Raveena Tandon, whether it is Madhuri Dixit. I'm sure we would see Munmunti one day.
Yes.
Yeah?
You will definitely.
Really? It's coming on?
No, not yet, but she's open to doing it. She's done a short film for an OTT platform. But of course, if she gets a show, she'll definitely do it.
That's wonderful. So, Paoli, do you feel that, okay, the longevity of an actor, it has, you know, there was a time that whenever you are married, when you have a kid, okay, your life is over. The heroine life is over. But then comes OTT. It helps you. It gives you so much of space to explore. So do you feel that is one thing which you all are actually little more maybe inclined towards OTT nowadays? Is it?
Reshmi, let me tell you something like the more the platforms, the more the opportunities.
Yeah.
So for me, there's no clash between a traditional cinema and a OTT platform. Of course, there's a difference. The major difference is OTT is a personal viewing. You can watch it on any of your device. Theater, watching a film inside a theater, it's a communal viewing. So there's a difference in the approach of making a film, in selecting the content, in selecting, fleshing out the characters. Even for writers, it's becoming more and more challenging, I would say. So, but for actors, it's more and more of opportunities.
Absolutely.
So, for me, it was always about good work. So it can be on any platform. When I started off, when I was in KG, I started doing theaters. So, from theaters, then television, then films, then OTT. Even in films, now we shoot in digital medium. There was a time when we used to shoot in Kodak, right? So, so I did that also. So, there are opportunities for actors to explore and experiment. But I would say definitely the OTT has broken a barrier when it comes to language.
Absolutely.
So, you reached out to like 150, 190 countries at the same time, which for a Bangla film, if I consider, once it is released, first it has a regional release, then it has a national release, then it has a international release, wherever Bengalis or wherever the contents are being accepted.
And we are okay with the, you know, like if we do not even go for dubbed films nowadays. It's okay. We want
Subtitles.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Subtitles are there to help us.
So I have been watching OTT, or I have been watching films of different language for like last 10 years. Yeah, I'm used to subtitles, but there are people who go for dubbed version.
That's true.
Which I'm not in favor of much, because you somehow lose the, the original flavor of the content. Anyway, so I think there is no clash. So a traditional cinema can exist with harmony with the OTT space.
Okay, Raima, would you like to add on something? Okay, Arindam, probably I know the answer, but then again I'm going to ask you that, do you feel that OTT is going to replace big screen? Why I'm asking this? After, 2020 was like that horrifying year for us. We were all digital. Whether we are cooking, we are drinking, we are doing whatever, it's always on digital. We are always online. So there came this surge of OTTs and it was accepted so well. So after this, like difficult time were over, when the big screen started opening and big releases happened. But don't you feel that, okay, there may be a RRR, there may be a Pushpa and KGF, but the amount of film which got released and the amount of money they have gained, don't you feel that, okay, there is a huge difference? I mean, the producers, do we actually listen to them? What are their conditions? They have, invested a lot of money, but do they get back? Did it happen? Arindam?
Firstly,
Yeah.
work of art is not measured barometrically by the money it gets.
Agreed.
Okay, but I'll get back to your question. But before that, I would like to pay my regard on behalf of all of us, of the Bengali film community, of the legendary filmmaker Sri Torun Majumdar, who passed away this morning. Tonu Babu, as I used to call him, we all respected him, and he was a person who had created cinema which overcame all boundaries and had been commercially successful like anything, and which actually transcended Bangla cinema to a place much beyond his times. Tonu Babu used to always tell me that you must have discussions.
Okay.
We have stopped getting into discussions nowadays. I thank India Today for this conclave, that we are discussing such things on open topics as such. Now coming back to your question.
Yeah.
2018, there was the OTT platform in this country was set at about 2150 crores, and there's that by 2030, this will come to a sizable portion of $15 billion.
Okay.
Having said that, during the COVID times, as you said, all OTT platforms, digital platforms, they just raced through. They broke their own targets, their own budgets of the year, and they just raced through to kind of create figures and records of their own. And as soon as cinema opened up, what actually happened, one of the largest digital platforms lost 2 lakh subscribers. There I want to make my proposition
Right.
is that, as Paoli said, there is no point of conflict between digital platform and cinema. Cinema would be there in its own place with its own greatness, magic, and everything.
Okay.
But there is this great avenue of content creation through digital platforms which has evolved and which is creating huge amount of work, huge amount of content, and giving way to great amount of experimentation. See, a film
Right.
like Roma,
Right.
which came on the OTT, and it had, it was shot in black and white. Martin Scorsese did a film with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and everybody called Irishman. And that film was about 5-6 hours long. He wouldn't have done it for cinema, but he did it for digital platform. What I'm
Right.
trying to say is that there is a complete different avenue that has opened up, and you have to respect both the form of content creation.
Okay.
For the Oscars last year, there were 35 nominations which came from digitally produced films from OTT platforms. And this film, Coda, paved everything. I mean, it walked away with the best film. Even say Power of Love.
Okay.
Sorry, Dogs of War. I'm so sorry.
So, Arindam, basically what you are saying is that both will exist. I mean, nobody is going to take another place. I mean, nobody is going to replace other.
Nobody is going to take each other's or eat into each other's. That is what we ought to respect.
Right.
And that is how we have to work. So if we are creating films for OTT, then we have to keep in mind about the viewership pattern. We have to keep in mind about the length and breadth of the viewing screen.
Absolutely.
You know, you can't create a Ben-Hur for digital platform.
Right. Okay. But, Raima, I was just wondering one thing. See, I mean, whether it is you, whether it is Paoli, Parambrotho, Shashwato, Chatterjee, and Abi Chatterjee, many of you are doing so good in the OTTs, I mean, national OTTs. But compared to here in Bengal, in Bengali OTTs, I mean, of course you're walking, it's not that you're not doing anything, but the grandeur, but the way it is big when it is a national OTT.
Obviously, because when it's national, there's more exposure and everything. But I would say the Bengal OTT Hoichoi is equally I would say, at par with the national OTTs. I think nowadays, I think you can watch any kind of Bengali content on Hoichoi. And there are other few OTTs which are in Bengal.
Right.
I think that for Bengal standards, I think that is at par with Netflix doing a show for Hoichoi.
Agreed. But do you feel that there is a lack of structural and corporate funding, which actually, you know, like if we compare ourselves with the national platforms, we have to compare ourselves, isn't it? I mean, we cannot just say, okay.
Obviously, there's a difference, but I think he'd be able to answer that.
Arindam, my question is straight away. Is it because a lack of structural and, you know, like corporate funding, which is why we are a little behind of the others? Yeah.
I'll put it in another way.
Yeah, please.
And that the success of digital platform content creation, this huge success has led way into concentrating into regional platforms, regional content creation. You see, the South industry has taken a lead.
Absolutely.
You open up Amazon and you'll find it's filled with South Indian films. It's not happening. The same is not happening for Gujarati or Maharashtrian or Assamese or Bengali films.
Right.
But eventually it's going to happen. With this huge success, what is going to happen is, for more content creation, now the focus would be getting into, other than from metro cities, into 2-tier and 3-tier towns. And to get into 2-tier and 3-tier towns, you have to create content in the local language. And that is exactly what these people are going to do. Having said that, that is one aspect. Okay, let's not talk about corporate. There's enough fund for everybody, and
okay,
whenever there is a market base that is created, funds automatically come in.
So then,
I would put in that way. But
yeah,
the best part is, what had never happened before, by all these people who've been working in cinema, whether it's Paoli or Raima or Poromroto or Jishu and all the ones who are wonderful actors,
right.
They are being recognized in the national circuit.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. Even if a Kannada film, a Telugu film is doing so well, so much of money and everything, so what is happening with us? Why aren't we there?
We aren't there because we didn't tie up our laces in proper time to be there. But Hoichoi, of course, showed the way. In the sense that it was the first regional language digital platform in the country.
So now there is one more thing. We all are mentioning about one OTT. Don't you feel it's a monopoly? After a few days, maybe, like there will be problems with this as well.
There is again another way of looking at it. If you can't create other content platforms, why blame the one who's doing so well?
We are not blaming, but we are saying that why are we lacking, and where is this?
That's because, Rashmi, you see that's what happened in Bangla cinema also, if I may be critical about it, is the fact that we do not tend to focus on distribution. See how the South Indian films have focused into distribution and how they have infiltrated all across the world. Films like RRR and KGF were not so popular even in Kolkata. But see the kind of business they've done. It's slow way of a process of marketing that have enabled that a 6 o'clock or a 7 o'clock show in Kolkata gets houseful. That is something which Bengali cinema needs to learn from them. They need to take up.
Even in a recent interview, Karan Johar was also mentioning that why the South Indian films are doing so well, because as per him, the directors and everybody has a conviction on the film. I mean,
we all have convictions on our films.
Of course.
But there are many more to when you go to distributions.
Okay. So there is one more thing. We were actually discussing that before we came here with Paoli, Raima and Arindam. That is the freedom that OTTs get. And with that freedom, do we share the responsibility also? On one hand, we know that there is a lot of censorship, and as a director, you know how many cuts are there, UA certification, blah, blah, blah. And on the other hand, you do not have that in OTTs. But there is this, criticism, Raima, that, the way slang is been used, the way violence is been showed, is it necessary? Or it is like, okay, so we have freedom, we can do anything.
No, because you have to use your freedom responsibly. So, and because thanks to the OTT, we are empowered. I mean, we can choose what to watch, and and if you have a family, if we have children, you decide for them what they can watch and what they can't watch. That's the boon of OTT. You have that discretion to choose what you see. So I think you have to use the freedom of expression responsibly. That's all. That's why.
Yeah. So, Paolo, do you feel that there should be also a censorship being imposed in OTTs, or no? Let it be like that. Let us be responsible and do our work.
Censorship can be in your mind, in your head, and the rest needs to be done accordingly. And there are contents for kids, there are contents for adults, so I think you can choose what you want to watch. That is a plus point for OTT, because something, you have the remote, you know what you want to watch or what you don't want to watch.
Right.
And Rest, I think some freedom of expression should be there, like for the directors, so that they can speak their mind, they can speak what they want through the cinema, which is a reflection of life, which we were discussing.
Absolutely.
So there has to be some freedom also, with some responsibility if you can carry out the space of freedom. I think the focus should be about making a brilliant film. Like
Right.
he just spoke about Roma.
Real.
He just
Real.
spoke about Roma.
Yeah.
It's so real. It's so beautiful. Where you understand what is happening, and you don't feel bad or about
Paoli,
a certain
can I
film.
just request you to kindly share the story that you were sharing with us about a film where, probably there was a sudden improvisation happened.
The
Yeah,
improvisation. So I was shooting for this series called Six Aspects. It's for Hotstar and directed by Tigmangshu Dhulia. So there was a sequence where I play a character called Shabnam, and this other character, the male character, is the character's name is Vicky. So they were having a fight. Okay, it was a very nasty fight they were having, and so nothing, not in details anything was written. It was sir wanted that things to work out organically in the set. So suddenly, while the character Vicky was trying to hit and abuse Shabnam and hit her, actually beat her up.
Right.
So she suddenly something came out of her mouth, like a slang, and which was not written on the script. And the director asked me, I know that it's a presence of of the situation. The situation was such that it happened so spontaneously. It didn't sound bad, but let's take another one. Without it.
Okay.
And and he asked me, do you think it is necessary? I said, I don't. It happened. It just came out spontaneously.
Yeah.
Because somebody is in front of me behaving so badly. But if you don't want, we can take another one. But eventually, they have kept the original one. So I think it is also the character, the background of the character, how the character would behave on a certain given situation. That also. And how honestly it is happening.
Right.
The conviction which you said. So, how with what conviction the character is saying something, uttering a few words, that also makes a difference. But I wouldn't say that it is absolutely necessary or it is absolutely not necessary. It is so relative. Let it be to the
Let the story
audience, and let
decide.
the audience and the story, of course, decide. It's natural flow.
I think Paoli has got it absolutely right on
Yeah.
the head. Let's leave it to the audience because they know how to filter. There are a certain kind of OTT platforms who care hoots about the language and the kind of sequences that they shoot, but they aren't popular. Look at the ones who are popular. Look at the ones which people talk about. They are mostly the ones with a certain kind of standard and aesthetics. So that leave it to the audience, and I think there's certain kind of responsibility which we all have. We know what to do, but definitely the digital content creation has paved ways for so many good things. I'll just say 2-3 things very fast.
Right.
And one of them being another kind of cinema is being created. In the sense, cinema is for the large screen, for community viewing, but there are certain kind of very intimate cinema,
Right.
which also used to be made for the big screen, but with a certain kind of budget and everything, it may not have had their kind of reach. But what happens is with digital content creation, you could create such kind of cinema on television. A great example would be Tom Hanks in Greyhound for Apple TV. What he did is that this wonderful film, which otherwise could have been made into a huge cinema, was made with the purpose of the TV in mind, television in mind. So there is another form of content creation that has evolved.
Okay.
Also, Look at the kind of content creation that we are all getting interested in watching. There's Nordic content creation, Icelandic content creation, there's Korean content creation, and now we are discussing, we are talking about Korean TV series, we are talking about Nordic TV series. Keep aside a Money Heist or a Crown or a Queen's Gambit. There are focus points that we are actually looking into. This is exactly what digital content creation has done, and it's immense and it's great. Let's celebrate that.
Absolutely. And Raima, is it also like, are you doing any Bengali film in recent time? I mean,
no, I've just done a Bengali show which is going to release during the pujas, Rokto Koropi.
Okay. So, what is the reason? I mean, many people say that, okay, the fee that you get for a national OTT is actually the budget of a film here. Is it really so? I don't know. I must.
I'm from here, and Calcutta is very close to my heart. I'm born and brought up here. Bengali films will always be close to my heart. I mean, it's given me Chokhir Bali, which was a turning point of my career. So I'm always going to work here, budget or not. I'm always going to work in Bengal.
Okay. Paoli, is it so that, like the fee that you get in the national OTT is actually the budget here? I mean...
See, Rishmi, you can't compare. It's certain things you can't compare because we are talking about Bangla cinema, which is like just the way you can't compare about the richness and the experimentation that we do in language cinema. You can't compare that. So I think OTT, there was a point where it was mentioned that that OTT is rebuilding regional cinema.
Absolutely.
I would call it, no. OTT is rebuilding Hindi cinema. And that's very important. Like the certain kind of things that we are used to watching, there's a huge shift of the conventional approach of films.
Rightly
so I was mentioning like we are used to watching heroes in films fighting with 50, 100 people and with with
the larger than life
larger than life experience.
Yes.
But for OTT audience, we want to watch real heroes with more of vulnerabilities, insecurities,
and lot
complexities.
Of flaws and, yes, absolutely. The
we
way
all
we are
have that. Then why can't we show the real thing?
Very true.
That's the difference which of cinema, like a communal viewing and a private viewing. That's the difference.
That's true.
Also another thing which digital content.
I don't mind fighting with 100 goons. I don't mind. Like it's a female character like that. But at the same time, I've played characters for OTT spaces which are so real, so dark, but so human.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have actually played a part,
like Bulbul, Binodini, the character I played.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That is exactly what OTT platform or digital content creation has done. They have brought Paoli down to that space to play a character like the one she did in Bulbul.
Right.
Even for Kali, I wouldn't have imagined playing a character, a protagonist. So female-oriented films, female-oriented content started happening more.
Absolutely.
Which we used to fight, which really used to struggle so much to get in traditional cinema.
Absolutely.
So that's even an important point, I would say.
And that is true, which Paoli was mentioning, Arindam. So yes, regional market, regional cinema, regional OTTs, everybody is actually getting a boost. There are more money rolling out, more actors coming in. Which is true. I mean, like Paoli and Raima is working there. Here in Bengal, we have got bunch of young actors, isn't it? So that is what has actually happened with, I don't know whether you all has gone into one direction. You're saying no, big screen will be always there. And we agree with that also. But then OTT is giving us that support that the regional film is actually become the Indian film.
More awareness of regional films because thanks to the OTT.
Previously it was only Hindi film,
now we get to watch Marathi and
so
many
Punjabi
other things.
film or I don't know, yes. So, Arindam da.
I absolutely detest that Bengali language cinema being, focused as regional cinema. It's not.
It's always a global cinema. It was always global.
Global cinema in Bengali language, and this is something that all of us in a country like India, where we have so many different kind of languages we speak and live by, it's always content creation globally in regional languages. And that is now being taken forward. OTT as a instrument, as a platform, is helping to promote,
Yes.
which is incredible, because of that increasing demand of content creation in a digital platform. Actors, technicians, directors, everybody has something to do, and
Right.
and they would get that offer if they are really worth their metal.
Absolutely.
See, there are certain films also, like big films, I would say, which with big names, actors, which we really look up to. Even those films
Recently I
which
watched something.
released
Yeah.
on OTT, it didn't work.
Right.
So it is about, again, you have to know your audience, and you have to build contents accordingly.
Absolutely.
And if it's a good one, people will love to
See,
watch
like
it in
things-
anywhere it is.
Sorry,
Absolutely.
Paoli,
So-
to interrupt, but
Yeah.
it's true that viewership patterns are changing,
Absolutely.
and
It
you
has
have
changed.
to adapt yourself to
Yeah.
that.
Right.
A very recent mega project by
Absolutely.
a great Indian hero just flopped on the box office,
True.
as well as
True.
on the OTT platform. It came into the OTT platform the soonest, but there's no talk about that. But then there's something like a Panchayat, a
Absolutely.
series like
Absolutely.
that, so fresh, and Jamtara, and so many others, which
So engaging.
are like become household names. People keep on talking about them,
Absolutely.
which is
Absolutely.
incredible.
The way, Paoli and Raima is also to the world right now. So I know, this is also a discussion that we can go on with, but we have to stop somewhere. I really want to thank all of you for being here with us. It was wonderful chatting with all of you. But, before ending, since two beautiful ladies are here, the first comment that...
Third one is you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So the first comment that Raima actually made after she met Paoli is that roga hoye gacho. You know that what it means. So really, you have seen her for after quite some time.
I think I met you after a month, no? Yeah.
Okay.
Month and a half.
Okay, so what exactly happens? You have met here. Are you like going to continue this? What happens? Or heroines have their own aura and all, and they
I
will.
think she has toned herself up to international demands.
Okay, is it, Paoli? Well.
Only a director can say that,
Absolutely.
Visualizing
That too, only
something.
him.
So we are actually looking forward, to be very frank, we are looking forward for your, big screen release, your OTT release, and Arindam, you have 6 releases this year. 2 has already released, and there is...
Om Keshottamancha
Yes.
getting released on
Okay,
11th
okay.
of August.
So a very best of luck to all of you, and thank you so very much for being here
Thank
with
you,
us.
Rishmi. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Thank you,
Rishmi.
India Today, for
Thanks,
this.
India
Thank you
Today.
so much.
It is always a privilege meeting and chatting with all of you.